Corey Connors looks like he's the Canadian to look at, but there's a bunch of Canadian flags sitting up there in the top 20.
Yeah, a lot of Canadians played really well today. Will Bateman had a good round earlier. Nick Taylor's got a good round going on the golf course.
Nicky Taylor was unreal. He was like Hayes was saying, he was 4 over at one point yesterday.
Unreal. Even like Hadwin, he was 3 over through his first 5 holes. And now he's got it back to, 5 or 6 on the tournament. So
yeah,
a lot of Canadian flags. And, I mean, this leaderboard's still pretty tight, right? Like, no one's really run away. We got one guy at 9, and other than that, I mean, anyone who makes the cut really still has a pretty good shot here on the weekend.
Well, this is the beauty of a golf tournament and the beauty of talent and the best players and why you play 72, right? Because you look at the top of the leaderboard, and let's be honest, there's a lot of guys that people would not be that familiar with.
Right.
But now all of a sudden I'm looking, Tyrrell Hatton's 8 under. Tyrrell's a guy that is a top 20 player in the world. Rory McIlroy, I believe, is up to 5 under. So Rory's going into the weekend, and he's chasing, and he's in a good spot. Justin Rose is 5 under. I would guess by Sunday, one of those 3 guys are in the final pair.
Yeah, I would assume so, too. And the cream always just continues to rise.
Just keeps getting there.
And, especially on the weekend when the pressure starts to rise, guys who are up near the top that haven't really been there and haven't felt that very much before, they tend to kind of at least not continue to go forward and sometimes come back.
Well, how do they do it, though? How does the best players always seem to creep up there? Is it just like their natural ability? It comes through sooner or later?
Yeah.
Or they putt better, or are they just that much better and they're going to show up?
They're just better. I mean, it's just like over the course of 72 holes, they're going to hit more good shots. Their misses aren't as bad.
Yeah.
Their up and ins, their short game's tidy, and I mean, that's the difference. That's what makes a guy a top player in the world versus a regular PGA Tour player.
And the term in the playoffs, especially the Stanley Cup final, it's just like the margins are so thin. If you sat here like we have the last 5 days and watched the tee balls like going into the air, it's not that much different. Like everyone just pures it almost right at the hole.
Yeah.
So it's the little things after that. I mean, you sat there.
I sit here and watch, and
you notice
they don't look the same to me.
No.
No.
Like
I
the
mean,
swings
you can.
or what?
Well, no, just the way like. This wind has been kind of coming off the right. A lot of guys just kind of hold it up against the wind. Some guys hit the high one that, gets riding the wind, and then it kind of hits and rolls over the back of the green. So there's different ways and different shots that you hit. And the top players, they have like that extra gear to just kind of finagle something in there just a little differently. And, the strike's different, the flight's different. There's just the total control and the sound.
Who's the one guy that you watched just hit a golf ball either on the range or something, and you were just like, that sounds way different?
It's Rory, man. Like, I mean, it's incredible. That hit is so heavy. I remember we were at Quail Hollow in 2017 and for the PGA, and they had kind of rearranged the driving range a little bit that year just because there was such a big build-out for the tournament. And they had a fence, and it was at like 320, and I was smashing them and like getting up, like rolling once in a while, even like touching the fence. And Rory's airmailing this thing, and there was like all these like semi trucks and like,
that's in 2017.
and flying donk, like hitting all these trucks and stuff in the background, and guys are just stopping and watching. It's like watching like
for you guys to stop and watch that, it must be something.
It's incredible. I mean, he's just got such a heavy hit. It's just different.
And he's not a big dude, like everyone points out, but he swings out of his shoes and he hits, like, it's all about like swing speed and how he connects.
Like uses like the earth, like you see like Justin Thomas too. He almost like jumps, like he uses the earth to generate the speed, as opposed to like some guys who just don't quite have that same amount of speed. They're almost just like using their upper body and their legs are still working. But he's like using the earth and like pushing up into this golf ball and just launching it.
Right, and it's going so high, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember Michael Block was saying that a couple of weeks ago, that this guy was hitting, it looked like his 5-iron looked like a 9-iron.
Well, one par 3, he hit an 8 and Block had a 4.
Right, and also just like how high this guy hits a golf ball is absurd, like what McIlroy can do.
So it's like, I tell people all the time, there's like Rory has shots that like nobody can hit. And then you see like a guy like Jordan Spieth, he hits shots that everybody can hit, but he just like gets the ball in the hole. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't do anything that like blows your mind.
His short game's outrageous, though.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And he putts really well. It's weird though. He's kind of become like more of a streaky putter, but his like hands around the green are incredible. But he just doesn't do anything special. He doesn't hit any shots that every single guy out here can hit those shots, but Rory and Tiger and some of those guys that separate themselves, they just hit shots that nobody else can.
First thing I saw you, we had a little stop and chat when I got here, and then I asked, how was the block party? And you actually said he hit him pretty well today.
Yeah, well, last I saw he was 4 under through 17, so I don't know what he finished on the day, but that was good. I mean, I mean, listen.
For the tournament?
No, for the day.
Oh,
for the day.
he's packing his bags.
Yeah,
now, right?
I mean, he caught lightning in a bottle at the PGA, and it was an unbelievable story. And I think he was just riding it so hard that, I mean, it was like a movie script. I mean, we all watched it. It was incredible.
Does he get more invitations from here, or is that it?
I think he probably will. I mean, I think the kind of the sexiness of it is kind of already ran its course. But, I mean, I wasn't expecting much from him at Colonial 2 weeks ago. Like, I mean, the emotions that he was going through and then all the extracurricular that he was doing off the golf course. Even here this week, he played the U.S. Open qualifier at 36 holes, and then he had an off-site pro-am the one day. I mean, you get to Thursday, you're almost tired, and it's tough, but that's kind of part of getting the sponsors exemptions. You have things that you have to do for the tournament.
Absolutely. They're going to say, well, we'll bring you up, but you got to bring something to the table here.
Yeah.
And listen, Michael Block, it is a once-in-a-lifetime story. It's a story that people will always remember. They'll
Legit
remember
movie.
the course. Legit movie,
Yeah.
the hole-in-one, everything.
You know what it reminded me of is John Scott making the All-Star game.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, man.
But John Scott didn't deserve to be in the All-Star game. Michael
understand.
Block played himself.
I get it. Don't get me wrong,
T15.
because you guys are talking about, like his up and down and that, like he had the game of a lifetime or the weekend of a lifetime where John Scott was voted in.
Right.
I get that, but it's such an outlier.
Yes.
That's what it is in pro
It's
sports.
Leicester City winning the premiership.
Right.
And now they were relegated, I believe. Leicester City's literally playing on the Corn Ferry Tour now over in England. But when they won it all, it was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, that's
you're
all
never
I
gonna
can
see it
think of.
again.
It's just, it's going to be a movie or going to be, but at the 15 minutes of fame is shrinking a little bit. Like it might be up right now.
Sounds like McIlroy's putting for eagle on 18 to get up to 7 under. So, there's a chance we've been shortchanging Rory at 5 under. At a minimum, he's going to be 6 under. He's not going to.
I snuck a little plus 1,000 in on him last night to win.
Well, because you got him. He was, what was he, 1 under last night, coming in here?
Yeah.
So the odds start. But that's a great play. Because that's
Thanks,
what
man.
you need. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But you're right, because what was he paying, like plus 400 or something?
To start. And you can't bet that. I'm not in a golf tournament.
You can't. And you're paying juice for like a top 5, which is absurd. But he has a slower Thursday, eases into the tournament, you start to get some odds.
Yeah, it's like that.
Like the
it's
way
like
you're
when
thinking.
like if Vegas goes down 1-0 or whatever, you live bet
You
them.
live bet it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See, this guy's a genius, man. Graham DeLaet knows what's
I
up.
love it.
So
I love it.
Hey, he might be a part of team. I don't want to give away any secrets. Next year, come football season.
Interesting. Okay, all right. There is a really, really prominent role up for grabs right now.
There certainly
You're
is.
in the interview process as we speak. With Graham DeLaet here at the RBC Canadian Open. So again, Corey Connors at 7 under. Will Bateman never used a blade putter. I guess he picked it up out of his truck today, went onto the practice team. I was told he hit like 6 20-footers in a row and said, I'll take this. He just shot 6 under today.
Wow. What a crazy game.
You ever done anything like that?
So one year at Palm Springs, I played the first 2 because they cut after 3 rounds. I played the first 2 rounds. I was like 2 under or something, but that's horrible out there.
You got to be 7 under to make it.
Right. And I was using the long putter at the time. So I was staying with Luke List and Colt Noas. I said, do you guys got another putter? I'm like, I can't do this. I couldn't hit the hole from 3 feet. And Luke's like, I got this 2 ball, but it's like 34 inches. I'm like, done. 8 under the next day with this 2 ball. I hadn't even practiced with it. It's crazy. So
That's
sometimes
wild.
just something.
But did he
different
ask
in your
for it
hand.
back, or you said
He
sorry?
let me keep it, yeah, but then the boys made me one, and I gave it back, and it didn't last long either.
Is that kind of on the norm on the tour where guys look at each other's clubs and like,
sometimes.
hey, let me show me yours, type of thing. Like, is
Exactly. Even like guys will, go up and you're like, what kind of grip are you using there? And they kind of see, and it's like, oh, how tight are you holding? And like, where's your overlap or under? And then they go try it, and it's like, whoa.
Really?
You play a practice round, you're like, man, I made everything.
All I can think of, like, you guys talk about clubs ad nauseum, but like,
But there's so much downtime for these guys. There's
saying,
so
like,
much time on the range.
How many times did you look at somebody's stick?
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching Mark Stone on the bench last night. His knob is
Unreal.
like, it's like a hot dog
Right.
at the end. Like
it's outrageous.
But other guys pick up the stick and like, how do you hold it? How do you do this?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is it a lot like that on the tour where you're looking at somebody and it's like that? I got to see this. I got to see this up close and personal.
There's got to be a filter, though, right? Like, you can't be the 148th player in the world.
Hey,
go up to
Rory, let
Tiger.
me see your wedges.
Yeah. Hey, Rory, what are you playing there? What do you got? The
I get it.
MG3 there? What are you, 56, 52?
Even if you're a rookie on tour and you're kind of walking back and Rory's hitting balls, you could kind of stop and watch and just kind of like pull his club. That would be okay. And
That's
Rory's
doable?
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
what about Tiger? What if you saw Eldridge?
I wouldn't. I don't know. It's just Tiger's Tiger. Tiger's different. He's on a different planet.
Imagine Graham DeLaet, like 10 years ago, just walked up to Tiger's bag, looked at his club, and went, amateur hour. And walked away.
Mine are better.
I love that. Yeah. All right, GD. Well, you're here all weekend, man. Like, right? You guys, we saw Bobby Weeks inside the ropes, signing hats,
Firing
signing
up the
shirts.
crowd.
Firing up the crowd, yes.
I love it. Weeksy, he's a legend around here this week.
Weeksy is a man of the people.
He is.
Everyone loves Bob Weeks.
Loves it.